Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter and the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of 2, soon to be an empty nester, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a newish mom, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we debrief our Tanglewood experience, and then we go into the archives to discuss the past moment from Happier in Hollywood.
But first, Malika, I had a long plane trip to come and see you. This is many weeks ago, and I watched Survival of the Thickest, which you had recommended.
Oh, yes. What did you think?
It's so good, and I had only gotten like halfway through the first episode, which we have heard from Liz, like the pilot is the hardest one, right? The pilot and the second episode are 2 of the hardest ones to write. I wasn't quite liking the flow of it, but at your suggestion, I went back and downloaded 3 or 4 episodes. And for some reason, I started in the middle. I started with the second season for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway, as I was watching the 3rd episode in the 2nd season, it was like getting progressively steamier and steamier. And suddenly I felt so self-conscious sitting on a plane, looking over my shoulder like, who else is watching this very intimate scene? I felt like I should not be doing this. On planes, you should watch things that are rated everyone, right?
Yeah. They should have a rating that's like airplane safe or something.
Yes. Or like safe to watch with your mother. You know, like I would like that rating. I don't know. Do you have that rule or feel self-conscious about what you watch on a plane?
I think nobody's looking at me. Like, I don't care. I don't care when I look at other people. You're never going to see these people again. Who cares?
But what if they're children, Malika? What about the children?
What about the children? I don't know.
The little kids in a seat across from me?
I don't know. I think they're going to be watching their own screen.
That's probably true. Wow, I couldn't get through it. I had to stop. I put on The Office or something. And then when I got back to your place, I finished the whole series. And it was fantastic. It's so fun.
It feels summery, right?
It feels very summery. It's definitely summer when they're making it. So, yeah, it feels that way.
That's fun. All right, Azizi.
Yes.
Where are we?
We're at Tanglewood.
We made it.
Yay! We made it. It's so beautiful. The concert hasn't started yet, but we are full. We had a good meal, lots of food and appetizers, a little bit of wine for me, and a little sparkling juice for Malika. And now we're just like looking out over the valley and these just gorgeous mountains. It's beautiful.
Yes, this is the Berkshires. And we decided to go with like a New Orleans theme kind of for the food.
Right, that was a good idea.
Because John Batista's from New Orleans. So we had po' boy sandwiches, and there's so much food.
We have too much food.
We're going to take back a lot of food.
We're going to have to pack it all up.
A lot of beverages.
But we have really classy goblets to drink our beverages out of. This was a great purchase. I'm glad we did it.
So we went to Target. We got some little tables.
The best plasticware Target had to offer.
And you found a nice tablecloth this morning.
Yes, we got the tablecloth.
Brought everything together.
We even did the flowers and the bud vase, little electric candles.
So it feels very good, very fun, and now we get to enjoy the music.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm noticing, like, there's no plane noise. It's just a different kind of quiet out here. If you ever have the chance to come to Tanglewood, I highly recommend it. Maybe we can make it a tradition, I don't know, but it's beautiful. That was so lovely. This segment is the follow-through where we visit something we said we would do in a previous episode. And of course, we're going to revisit Tanglewood. We're going to do a little debrief. So you heard us chatting with each other before the concert. We had a lovely time. Feels like it was ages ago, even though
It was a long time ago.
it's just a few weeks ago. It
No,
wasn't
no, no. It was much longer.
okay, ages ago, or AKA like late June.
Yeah,
And we had a great time.
we did. It was fun. I'm glad that we did it because of the timeline. It was kind of like, is this going to happen? And it did. I was very pregnant. It was funny. There was another person in our vicinity who was also super pregnant. We didn't make eye contact and nod or anything, but I felt like, okay, she's there. And then what's really kind of ironic is that my doula was there having her own date or whatever. I kind of knew that she was going to be there because I mentioned I was going.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, well, text me if anything happens. And then we actually ran into her at the bathroom.
That was really fun. I got to meet her.
Yeah, which was fun. Like all of the thousands of people that were there, and we happened to run into her.
That was cool. So you were safe. You were in good
I was
hands
safe.
at Tanglewood. Always bring your doula with you.
Yes.
I just was so struck by the nature of it all. It is
Yeah.
outdoors and the landscape is lush and green and forest and hills and it's just so beautiful. And we got really lucky with the weather. I was worried it was going to be
Yeah.
raining and it wasn't raining. It was super humid, but it wasn't raining. And so that's one of my favorite memories is just looking out at the rolling hills, being outdoors. I also got a trip to the gift shop, which
Of
was very important
course.
to me. Once I know there's a gift shop, then I'm like, I need to go to the gift shop. And at one point, I was like, let's go to the gift shop. And you're like, the concert's going to start.
I didn't want to miss the
I missed the
opening.
concert. And I'm like, it's
You-
going to go on for a while. But we decided to make a trip to the gift shop during intermission, which was perfect. I bought a beautiful butterfly sweater, which was like John Batiste's official concert sweatshirt. And I will treasure it always because it reminds me of Tanglewood.
Yes. One of the things that stood out to me, this kind of goes on to the just things to bring to a concert list, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
So we had a huge umbrella because we were thinking it might rain. And it didn't rain, but it was quite sunny.
Yes.
And so I was using it as like a sunbrella.
Yes. It was
It was
very striking.
very extra, a huge umbrella, and I had my neck fan on.
Yes.
But it really came in handy when we were trying to find your friend who we were picnicking with.
Yes.
There's just so many people, and there's not like numbered sections or anything. Everybody's just sprawled out on the lawn. So it was very helpful to be like, I have a big black and white umbrella. Can you see it? And she's like, oh, there you are.
That's true.
And that was
Yeah.
very handy.
Because we puzzled for a bit about how are we going to find them, and
Yeah.
the cell reception was terrible. So you think, oh, we'll just call, but
Right.
calls weren't going through. And luckily we were able to text and get her for long enough to send the umbrella signal.
Yeah. We bought these tables from Target the day before that were deeply discounted.
Yeah.
They ended up being like $13 each. These little metal tables that fold.
And they're blue, such a striking blue color. Beautiful, perfect tables.
We brought those, but they had those zip ties on them, and we didn't bring any scissors or a knife. And so we were like, oh, are we going to open these?
Big
And,
fail.
we came in maybe there's a first aid tent. Maybe we could ask the concessions people, they didn't have anything. And then a woman just overheard us and was like, do you need scissors? Like, yes. She's like, well, I used to be a teacher, and so I just carry things with me.
She was
she
so
had
nice.
a pair of scissors in her purse, like kid scissors, but they worked.
Amazing.
She just said, you never know. And it was just very serendipitous because we saw her right at the opening, right when we needed scissors.
Scissors appeared right when we needed them.
Exactly.
And that's also my memory is just how friendly and happy people were.
Yeah.
Maybe part of it has to do with the region. Maybe people are just generally happier in Western Massachusetts.
Well, that's not what they say about New England.
Oh, you're right.
TBH, to be honest. But
you're right.
I think it's the setting, too.
But compared to I don't know. The setting, people are in a good mood. So
Yes.
they're there to have a good time. People were friendly, happy, communal,
Yes.
commenting on each other's setups. And it was a lovely, happy vibe that was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So anything you remember about the table setup?
Well, your friend had a small table also,
right?
so we weren't sure how we were going to configure things, and her table ended up being the exact same height as ours.
Shout out to Holly. So we put our 3 tables together and it was perfect.
And you put that tablecloth over it, and it looked like we had this long table that was just designed for this purpose. It was really pretty. We got a lot of comments on it, and you kept saying, "We won, we won. I won Tanglewood."
I did say that. It felt like I won. This is clearly a sport. Tanglewood is clearly a sport. And I wasn't sure, never been there before, made some moves and some plays, but the amount of positive feedback that we got from people passing by, it was clear that we won. And so I was excited about that.
That was fun.
We also brought fresh flowers, which,
That's a good move.
I mean, there were so many things that could have gone wrong in that endeavor.
Right.
And it wasn't like a huge base, but Norm had picked some flowers at the farm, that
Yeah.
day or something. And so he just poured out the water and then delicately placed them, in the setup. And they actually made the trip. And that was really nice.
Yeah. I will say that we did bring the wagon, and that was a must.
The wagon
That
was a
really
must.
helped us. We packed it to the gills,
Yeah.
but it made it possible to bring in this whole set.
Yeah. The wagon was a must, but I wonder if we could do without the cooler. I wonder.
Oh, really?
Or maybe a smaller cooler, because that was heavy and it was a lot to bring.
But the benefit of it was that it was on wheels.
Yeah, but it was still heavy, like
Okay.
maybe not even half of what was in it did we finish.
Well, that's another thing is proportions.
Yeah. I feel like we could do a cooler bag,
Okay.
but yes, proportion.
We always think we're going to go through more than we do.
So that brings us to food.
Yes.
And we did go with the New Orleans theme because John Batiste is from New Orleans. And I thought that was a lot of fun. That added some whimsy. We had po' boy sandwiches, corn, fried oysters. It was delicious and it was just too much.
Yeah.
And we had so many beverages. I will say the standout was a non-alcoholic white wine from, I think it's Toast or Tost. It's like Tost with 2 dots over the O. But this was a sparkling non-alcoholic wine that I picked up from Trader Joe's that was really yummy.
Yeah, it was nice. It's also nice to have variety.
That's true. That's true.
Like, it's hard to have abundance and pack just the right amount.
Yeah.
And your friend Holly, she had brought food too, so that added to the spread. But something that you said I think should be captured is I ordered the food, and there were a lot of like fried oysters are meant to be crispy, and same
Right.
with fried catfish sandwich.
Yes.
I thought, okay, this food is hot when we got it. It's not going to be a couple hours before we eat it. Let's make a hot cooler, basically.
Right.
So that it stays warm. But then everything was a little bit soggy. You said very aptly, like, you can either have it crispy or you can have it hot. You can't have both. But I wish I had known that before. I think I would have chosen crispy.
Yeah, I would have chosen crispy. And I don't know if many people know that or do that. Putting food in the cooler to keep it hot. This is something we've done for Thanksgiving when we
Yeah.
have lots of dishes to make and, we're not going to eat them all at the same time. We want to keep it warm. The cooler absolutely works for that. It keeps things warm. But if you have something crispy or crunchy, it's going to get soggy. The steam is going to steam it up. And
Yeah.
I don't mind food cold. I can eat food any temperature. And I would have much preferred it crispy also. But you can't have both.
It was still good. It was still good. But
It was
yeah.
still good. But if you're talking about time, you have to prioritize one or the other. And it was hot. It was warm. It was not
It
cold.
was warm. All right. So what would you do differently next time? If we go again, if we make this a tradition, what things would you want to iterate?
Well, first, before we get into that, I want to just say how funny it was, the 2 of us shopping at Target.
Oh, man.
Because I don't know, when is the last time we went to Target together?
I don't know.
You have been at Target and called me, and I've been at Target and called you. But I don't think we've ever shopped at Target together. And it was hilarious because the dynamic was, I would say, ooh, how about this? And you'd say, we don't need that. No. I'd say, bubbles, let's have bubbles. No, we have bubbles at home. We have bubbles at home. It was really funny. That was fun. I want to do Target trip again because I just love trying to get you to buy things that you absolutely feel like we do not need. So you had your neckband, Malika. That neckband
Yeah.
is like a part of your family. It comes with you everywhere. And I could have benefited from a neck fan. I think
Yeah.
it was so hot. I had a regular hand fan, which I used and appreciated and adds a little bit of flair, but honestly, I could have had both. So I probably would bring my neck fan next time.
Yeah. That was very useful.
Yeah. And then maybe more lights, the tea lights. Like I
Okay.
grabbed your candles at the last minute from the mantle, which were a little bit larger, but I think more smaller lights would be pretty.
I think it would have been nice to have a photo of the table before we put all the food out.
Oh, yeah, that's
I think
true.
we were just there and excited, and
Yeah.
the food covered all the it was
Yeah, it looked a little messier than it actually
yeah,
did. Yeah, that's true.
but I think your idea of, like, actually having, like, place settings, and
Oh, I forgot. We talked
would
about,
be
like,
really
having
nice.
trays, like, plating the food,
Yeah,
and maybe,
that's
like,
right.
some different tiered trays so that you're going vertical as well, so that you're not messing up your tablescape with plastic bags and things like that.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
yeah,
nice.
plating the food is the next level thing.
That's next level. We could do it
Or
that
you
way.
have, like, another little table that's, like, where the food is, and then you bring your plate over.
I don't think you wanna get up, like, once you're seated but passing a tray back and forth, that that won't that's not hard. We could do that.
Yeah,
I have a vision for that.
okay.
I think we could do that easily. The other thing of that, I think, when it was time to leave, it was really crowded. Like everyone, thousands, how many people are there? 1,000 at least. People
Yeah,
are leaving all at the same time and it's dark and people are trying to find their cars. And then there's just a lot of traffic. You're just sitting kind of for a
yeah,
few blocks. And there were some people, a few people who weren't going anywhere. They were just chilling in the
yeah,
grass. And I feel like we could be those people. Why rush with everyone else? Why not just hang back and enjoy the ambiance a little bit longer? And then once it cleared out a little bit, then head to the car.
yeah, have, like, a dessert course.
A dessert course. Write that down. We
Okay.
we should have is anybody writing this? Somebody write it
Who's
down.
writing
Who's
and who's
taking
taking
notes? Who's taking notes? We need to have a special course for post-concert and extend that a little bit longer because it was still warm. We had the lights, it was beautiful, and let's not get stuck in the traffic.
Yeah. I think one thing we were on the lawn, which is kind of a iconic Tanglewood experience. I think it would be cool to see what it's like in the shed at least once.
Mm.
So maybe to get there early to picnic and then move into the shed, 'cause you can't really have food there or the same kind of setup, but you're closer to the stage. Depending on the performer, I feel like it would be a totally different experience to, like, be in the concert, because
Oh,
we were
100%.
kind of removed. There's a big screen where we could see it. You brought binoculars, which we found towards the
Did.
end, but we could see John Batiste, but he was pretty far away.
The binoculars were fun, first of all, so that should be a part of the kit, but it wasn't so much a concert. It was like you were watching it on the jumbotron, you
Mhm.
know? You weren't picking up on the same energy that clearly they were up front,
Mhm.
so I think that would be a good goal. It was a different setup than the Hollywood Bowl, obviously because it's like that bowl shape, you
Yeah.
could still see in,
Yeah.
but Tanglewood, you can't even see in. Like,
Hard to see
the
in.
jumbotron is blocking it, and it's all flat, so it's just hard to see past the crowd to even see a little people on the stage.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess if we had sat, like, on one of the sides, we could have been closer, but then you can't see the jumbotron. There's, like, trade-offs anywhere you sit.
Right, so if we can't be in the shed, we could absolutely try to get closer, and
Mhm.
if we
To
can
get
get
there
there an
earlier.
hour earlier, or maybe
Yeah.
2 hours earlier, because really everything you need is there.
Yeah.
Why
It's
not make a
quite
day of
nice.
it, It's quite
Yeah.
nice, so we can get there much earlier and get up closer. That would make a big difference.
All right. Well, congratulations, Azizi, for winning Tanglewood.
Thank you. I'm
Year
so
1.
proud. Thank you. It's gonna only get better from here.
And let's keep the conversation alive. Let's keep looking at who's coming next summer and see, yeah, when we can do this again.
Absolutely. Well, as soon as it comes out, let me know the schedule.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will dig into the archives. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family-friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
And we are back with From the Archives, where we go deep into the vault of the Happier canon and reflect on an idea that's resonating now. So today we're going to revisit episode 80 from Happier in Hollywood, this whole concept of get to steppin', which has become like a thing in Happier in Hollywood. It was a audience favorite. They mentioned it in their 300th episode of like the best moments. And I don't know why that it stuck out to me now to talk about it, but I'm going to recap the scenario. So a listener had written in to Liz and Sarah asking for their advice about a job. They were working at an agency and felt that their employer was verbally abusing them, had been getting the line of like, this is how you pay your dues. You just have to have a tough skin. And the listener was wondering, like, do I really have to put up with this? Is this what it takes? Should I stay? Should I go? And so Sarah and Liz reached out to their friend, Nichelle Tramble-Spellman, who is a writer. And they knew she had an experience like this when she was younger in the industry. So they called her up and got her take. And Nichelle's story was basically that she was working at an agency and found an opportunity to work for a producer as a third assistant. And this producer was like notorious for being difficult, but Nichelle wanted this experience. It seemed like a stepping stone. So she took this job, and her very first day, the producer just like tore into her, called her all kinds of names, would just come out of her office and like yell at her, insult her, tell her she was dumb. How did she get this far? Just like really bad. And so at lunch, Nichelle said, okay, I'm going to step out. I'm going to go get some food. And she went and found a payphone. This was pre-cell phones. Found a payphone, called her mom, and was like, what do I do? Like, this job is terrible. And her mom said, do you have your purse? Do you have your keys? She said, yes. Get to steppin'. So she just left and didn't go back. And I guess they were calling her and she didn't answer the phone. She said she answered it in the evening and just said, it's not a good fit. But I just love this story. The simplicity of it is like, it's just so good.
It's just a fun phrase because it's
steppin'.
so active. It's like such a directive. You know exactly what it means. It's fun to say. Step in. It's not get to stepping.
Yeah.
It's just fun. And I love that when she described the verbal abuse that she was receiving, she said, should we be fighting now? This is when I would punch you, right? Like that's the internal dialogue that was happening was, this is so aggressive. We would be fighting in any other scenario based on what you're telling me and how you're treating me.
Yeah.
So Malika, this was an episode that you wanted to revisit. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew you needed to get out of right away?
Yes, I have.
Oh. Okay. Say more. What happens?
Maybe that's why it resonates.
Yeah. You followed this advice?
Yeah, I mean, not often, but there have been a few times. I don't know. I feel like, and this is like when I was living in LA and in my actor pursuit, you just get into weird jobs
Right.
that are not normal. And there was one where I was kind of like a gallery assistant for this fine art photography art dealer. And I think I was there for 2 weeks. It might have just been 1 week, though, honestly. Like, I was trained for a week. It wasn't a very long job, but it was a very quirky, particular situation in somebody's home where they had an office, and this art dealer was very difficult. And basically, my job was to keep him on task,
Mm.
which is also weird, right?
Mhm.
And we got into an argument about something, and our desks were facing each other in the office. He like came around to my desk
Oh.
and was like hovering over me and touching my keyboard. And I was just so like, oh my gosh, this person is in my space. This person's in my space. Could you back up? Could you back up? And I just screamed,
Yeah.
which is very dramatic, I will say. Like, when does anybody do that in life? And
Why didn't you use your words?
I think I did use my words first, and he wasn't responding. And so
Oh,
it wasn't 0 to scream. It
got
was
it.
like,
Got it. It built
back
up to
up.
that. It built up to
Yeah.
scream. Got it.
But still, like, it's an extreme situation. And
Yes.
it really surprised him. Then he screamed,
Yes.
like, in response to my scream, which is also like, what are we doing
Was
here?
he genuinely like scared? Did you scare him to scream? Or...
I don't know. He was just, okay, you scream now. I guess I'll scream. It was like 2 little kids or something. And then his wife came running down the stairs, like, what's going on? And, I was trying to explain, and she was just like to her spouse, like, why does this keep happening?
Oh, that's such a bad sign.
Yes. And so that
Wow.
was like, okay. I did leave that day and I didn't come back.
Yes.
So that stands out to me.
Lines have been crossed.
Lines were crossed.
At that point that you cannot come back from. I have to say, this is a tangent, but there is something about a guy hovering over you. Like, this is often a scenario when you're working on a computer and someone is coming to explain something to you
Right.
or show you how you do something. I would rather just get up and let them have my seat than to have
Right.
somebody hover over me in that scenario.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it wasn't enough room. And it wasn't like I was in love with the job anyway. Like,
Right.
there
Right.
were a lot of
The stakes were
downsides.
low.
Yeah.
In these scenarios, there's something about working for one person or
Mm.
being someone's assistant,
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
think leaves you vulnerable to a certain kind of abuse. And it's like, I have not ever had those kinds of jobs. First of all, I haven't had very many jobs. And my jobs have mostly been in schools and, educational
Right.
settings where there's lots of people around. You're not alone, It tends to be child-centered. So I think that might be why I haven't felt these kinds of feelings before.
That's a good point. I mean, something in the episode, Nichelle said, her mother basically said, if you go back into that office, you are co-signing this behavior.
Yeah.
Like, you're communicating that you're okay with it. And like, if you're not okay with it, don't go back in there.
Mhm.
That's interesting to me because I think there are a lot of norms in a lot of industries that are just not great, but
Right.
people agree to it
Right.
silently. So it makes me think of this other situation where I was a background actor, which I didn't do a lot of, but occasionally I would do it if I knew somebody involved with the project and they asked me. And this was a situation like that where this director was doing this passion project and was filming in his house. So he didn't want there to be just like anybody there. He was being very selective about who was on this project, even in the background. So I was friends with one of the assistant directors. She knew that I was an actor and had invited me onto other things. And so was like, great, it'll be fun. And I ended up being like a featured background. So
Mhm.
in a certain scene or couple scenes, they like focused on my face or whatever. So there were times where I was basically treated like one of the principal actors because I was in a scene with them.
Mm.
And this is like at somebody's house. It's not like a huge Hollywood production, but there's still this hierarchy that exists between the main cast and the background cast. And there was a situation where there were grilled cheese sandwiches put out.
A grilled cheese sandwich situation.
Grilled cheese sandwiches for the cast. And I took one and I got scolded by the craft services person because I was a background actor and that food was not for me. And I was just so like, what? Like, this is ridiculous.
Malika, did you scream?
I did not scream.
Okay.
Internally, I had the wherewithal not to chew out this person. I just put the sandwich back. But like inside, I was like, we're all of us out here in the hot sun.
Right.
Like, what is that? I don't understand. We're all doing the same hours here. So I just kind of like took note. And then I was like, I'm going to talk to the first AD after, because that was the person who I knew. And I talked to her later that day. And I was like, I just want you to know that this happened, that, craft services chewed me out for doing this. And she was like, well, sorry that happened to you, but this kind of standard, like the main cast gets to eat first. And there are certain things that are just, and it was just like, what? Oh, I felt so dumb, right? Because there was no injustice that had occurred. This is just like the way it works. And why didn't I know this already? For me, it was just like, okay, well, I get the rules now. And I don't like these rules. I think that I'm too important in my own eyes to not be able to eat a grilled cheese sandwich that's like put out for people. So I'm not going to be in this situation again. Like, that was my, like, I'm not doing background again because I think I should be able to eat whatever food that I want.
Well, you learned something about yourself that day.
Totally. It was my own ego, right? I just didn't want to be told no for a snack, and it's like, okay, I can handle this. I cannot put myself in a situation where that's going to happen.
I love that in that situation, you immediately like want to talk to who's in charge.
Totally.
That would not be my instinct in a million years. I would just be like, okay, I guess I should pack my own lunch next time.
Well, she was my friend. Like, she was someone I knew. So it wasn't just like go straight to the top. It was like, this was my connection, but still.
File a complaint. Still. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't do any more background work after that.
That's funny. I've not really been in those situations. There was a time, I feel like I talked about this before, but maybe not. Right when I got out of high school, in between my senior year and my first year in college, I took some temp work. And one of the jobs was working for McDonnell Douglas in this huge warehouse. I don't even think it's there anymore. It was like an Arcadia or something. My job was to manage the clocking in and clocking out. Like they had physical clock in and clock out machines. That's how long ago this was. And there were like spreadsheets and charts that I had to align or something like that. I was on the floor and people were making parts for things. And there was one person there who kept trying to give me a ride home like every day. And I kept saying no. And there was one time where he was like very insistent that I get in the car with him. And it made me so uncomfortable. And so I told my supervisor, like, to her credit, she sat down with me. She didn't know me. I was a temp. Like I had just gotten there. I explained the situation. She was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to handle it. And I feel like she did. And I finished out my, maybe it was like another week or something like that. But I did not get to step in, but I did get to telling somebody that to fix it. Even though it was, it was a difficult job and I didn't have to stay, but I just did. I don't know. But I think mostly it's because I worked for schools. Like 99% of my work has been in schools. And not that they're all perfect or that there can't be unpleasant dynamics, but I do think there's something to being someone's assistant that opens you up a little bit to potential mistreatment. All this talk about get to step in, I do feel like I need to talk about how to leave a job.
Okay. How do you leave a job, Azizi?
I want to provide an alternative because these experiences, I think, are extreme. Like mostly when you're leaving a job, it's not because you've been abused. Like mostly you're probably leaving a job because you find out it's not for you or something better comes along or whatever. I just don't think people think enough about how to leave something well. And there's a lot to be said for leaving in a way that helps you maintain the relationship or the relationships or be available for other opportunities that might come up in the future that you can't even imagine right now. And I say this all the time that we're in long-term relationships with each other. And the amount of times I've run into someone again who I never thought I would see again
Yeah.
are like amazing. So why not, if you can, and if it is not an unsafe situation, take the steps to let your supervisor know that something has changed for you and that you need to leave. Give them a little bit of time, even if it's not 2 weeks, even if it's a day. Giving them a little bit of a heads up is very kind. And if there is anything nice to say it, whatever you valued or whatever you learned or whatever you're taking away on your way out. That goes such a long way. It goes such a long way. If you can end on good terms and end well, even if it's, I can't come back tomorrow, that just shows that you have a lot of integrity and that you're capable of finishing something that you have started. Granted, if you're in an abusive situation, that person that you're working for may not deserve that, or you may not have the capacity to offer that to them. But I feel like in most cases, it's different. You can, and it's really good to consider how you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
I imagine there's jobs you've left in different ways.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of jobs that I've quit
Yes.
in a responsible way.
Yes.
That was an extreme situation, but
It's a thing that doesn't get talked about that
how to
much.
leave a job.
How to leave a job,
Yeah.
right? You talk a lot about how to get a job, but you very rarely talk about how to leave a job.
That's something that I used to work with in my coaching work. I used to support clients in that kind of process too. And it is hard. I think it can feel scary because it's conflict in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I think there's always a thread. It's like if you can be positive about why it's good for you, that people want to be a part of good news and good change,
Right.
that can go a long way. But yeah, it's like really testing communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't always receptive to it, but
This is true.
know?
And I have, being the person responsible or the manager and grappling with somebody leaving is not easy, and that's hard. But at the end of the day, I have learned, you know what? I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
People need to live their life and do their thing, and that sometimes means it's going to be in a different direction.
Yeah.
But the times when they have given a heads up or done it at the appropriate time, it's just like priceless.
Yeah.
That was fun. Should go into the archives more often, Malika.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about peaks and valleys.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Okay, we're back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and there are always valleys. This is an odd episode, so Malika is up with a peak.
Okay, so my peak goes to my mom, my dad, and my aunt, who are all here right now. We're still in this baby, new baby phase.
The baby bubble.
The baby bubble. And I just have to say, they've been so helpful. Like, I have not done a dish, just keeping the kitchen clean, helping with laundry, helping with Quincy, holding him. There's just been a lot that they're doing and have gotten on board with quickly when you left.
Good, because they needed to. It's like everybody else needs to step up. But it takes time to get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they found it.
So they've been coming over early to help with getting Indigo to school. And I'm just grateful because I know it's just from love of our family, and that they left their lives in LA for 3 whole weeks just to be here and support us. So just a big peak to them. I'm really grateful. And they're here for 1 more week. And then we'll be on our own.
You guys will be in a good situation by then.
Yeah.
Another week. That's wonderful. I'm glad you're getting that support.
Yeah. What's your valley is easy?
Well, I had an eye doctor appointment today. And, I have them once a year. So that's not surprising. But There's something about the eye doctor. Like in my appointments, the eye doctor, they always stress that my eyes are getting older and they're not what they used to be. And this is a large practice that I go to. Every time I go, there's a different doctor and their message is always the same. You're getting old. And I feel like I don't get that at the dentist. I don't get that at my primary care. We all know it, but for some reason, the eye doctor has to stress it in a very specific way. And so I push back a little bit. And it's like, why do the eye doctors always have to tell me that my eyes aren't what they were when I was 20? And he laughed and we laughed. It was funny. But
he didn't give you an answer?
No, he's like, no. He tried. He's like, I don't mean you're getting old. Just your eyes, just the muscles in your eyes. He tried to backtrack a little bit, but he was very funny. And then he went on to talk to me about the ills of looking at your cell phone all the time and how, in 30 years, half the population is going to be nearsighted because we are putting undue stress and strain on our eyes. And he said it used to be when you got to 30, that was about as bad as your eyes were going to be, but now it's declining much faster. And so this is a PSA to everyone. He was particularly worried about young children who are spending a lot of time looking at things close up more than they used to. He's like, they used to just play. They used to just be in the street outside playing, and now everyone's on devices, and that's ruining eyesight. So he said, when you get home, don't look at your phones, put them away, watch TV, look at things that are further away.
TV is the better thing.
Well, TV is the better thing in this scenario. When given a choice, the eye doctor told me that when he gets home, he tries really hard not to look at his phone and to do things where he's looking at things from a distance and not so close up. So I was like, okay, this is yet another reminder to not be on my phone.
Wow.
There's all kinds of reasons why we should put our phones down, but the eye doctor had a lot to say about it today. So passing that on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And your eyes aren't what they used to be, Malika. Specifically your eye muscles.
Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I'm going to order some sunglasses because that's something else that I need to do more of is wear sunglasses outside. What about you, Malika?
Well, I guess I'll try just thinking about what we were just talking about. I've been watching a lot of TV on my phone.
Right.
So maybe I'll try to go back to the big screen.
Watch big screens. What you can do for your health is watch more TV.
Watch more TV. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, please rate, review, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi. Bye.
Bye. It's funny, when I was at the eye doctor, the guy's like, the receptionist said, "Did you used to work at Nordstrom's?" It's like, I know, isn't that a random thing to say? But I was like, no, but I kind of felt like it was a compliment because fancy people work at Nordstrom's, right? That means I must be looking put together. If
that is a compliment.
I once worked at Nordstrom's.
Take it.
I'm taking that as a compliment.
That's funny.
Do you want to say it again?
It should be clean on my mic. It'll be clean on my, yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to shut the door. Oh, you're the worst on podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.